Get your fabric and elastic ready. We are making a scrunchie. So I chose a satin fabric. Measurements are provided. So what you need to do is the short end of your fabric that you've cut out is you need to sew it together, right sides together. And once you've sewn it together, you basically fold in part of the fabric, of your scrunchie fabric, and you basically wrap it with the other what's left, yes, you wrap it over. What we are going to do now, we are going to sew across that area and make sure the part that you've wrapped in is not caught on, you don't catch on it, is free from sewing. So you just sew this part that is wrapping it. This is a very quick and easy method of making a scrunchie. As you can see, how you get through all of that, how you sew the rest of it, is by just simply pulling through the wrapped in area. You want to make sure that the wrapped in area is free from your sewing line, so that you do not catch on it when you sew. The last thing you want to do is unpick. As you can see, I basically am sewing at a 6 millimeters, I would say, to avoid trimming later. Besides, I like my scrunchies a bit with some meat on it, if I can put it that way, you know, a little bulky. So I try to keep as to sew a small seam at all times. It's up to you. Also, the width of the scrunchie is really dependent on what you would like. So as you can see, we keep pulling the fabric through the inner side. You keep pulling it through and just keep wrapping it up with the outer fabric. And you're gonna sew until you can't. As you can see that we've reached the end of our we're basically sewing until you can't. So I'm gonna stop over there, and once that is done, okay, so please excuse my lighting here. I couldn't adjust it properly. But anyway, you pull through the rest of the inner layer, and as you can see now, you've got a little hole that you have to insert your elastic into. And there you have your outer layer of your scrunchie, and all that is required is your elastic. Please, I couldn't find my small safety pin, so I use this big one. But it's not a train smash in any way. So we insert our elastic, as you can see. But I actually love using this safety pin because it's nice and huge, and it's perfect for scrunchies, if you ask me. It just goes seamlessly in there. So I like to pin the end so that it doesn't get lost in there, because trust me, that's the last thing that you want. So the end of the elastic I pinned onto the fabric so that I can go right through the fabric without losing the end of it. Here we go. And you pull it through. Ta-da! As you can see, my table has changed. I switched venues. I'm sewing in a new studio now. As you can see now, we just sew the edges. I like to use a zigzag when I'm sewing. So we adjust the knob over there, and then here we go. We do a zigzag. I always do a zigzag. I find that it just keeps the elastic firm and is stronger than just sewing a straight line across. So chances of it snapping or getting undone. Because remember, this, you're going to be tying this around your head. You're going to be using it a lot. And there we go. It's nice and in there. You can see the scrunchie is become live. Now, my scrunchie is this one. Remember, you can adjust the elastic. So if you want to make it 6 inches, 7 inches, it's up to you. I made mine because I have very thick hair, and I tend to have braids on, so because I still want the scrunchie effect to be there, I keep it that way. So now we're going to close our opening. I'm going to close our opening by simply stitching across it. If you want, you can hand stitch, but it's quicker to just stitch across it and no one really notices. So don't forget to go back to your straight stitch. And there we go. And ta-da! Snip off all these threads that are just hanging around, minding their own business. Just snip them off with your small snipping scissors, preferably. I couldn't find mine. It literally grew legs and walked away from the table. And there we go. We've got our little scrunchie. Please help this channel grow by pressing like and subscribe. Thank you for your support.